that your team picked?
I think they're good choices. We wouldn't have named them, obviously. But there were some surprises, and there were some that were obvious. And we also had other players that got a lot of votes, and that allows us to make some guys honorary captains. And we can't have enough leadership on our football team. So I'm excited about it. Obviously Crosby Wright was one of the top vote getters on the offensive side of the ball, and he's a heck of a football player and really a driven guy. And he leads by example, and he's also maybe a little more demonstrative, as a leader. He's vocal and really speaks from the heart, so I wasn't surprised to see him get a lot of votes. And then we had a tie between Shavers and Turbush. So anytime your quarterback is in position to be a captain, that's a good sign. So I was surprised about Akeem in some ways because he's a little more quiet at times, but he's one of the hardest workers on our football team. So obviously his actions have meant a lot to his football team. And then I'm not surprised to see Caleb get a lot of votes because he started 13 games for us last year. So was pleased with the selections on offense. And then Schmid got a lot of votes, and Rob Henry got a lot of votes, and Tommy Thomas got a lot of votes, and those guys will be honorary captains for us on offense. And then on the defensive side, Kawan Short, he was the top vote getter on our team. And then Ricardo Allen was the second top vote getter on our football team. That doesn't surprise me any at all. And then Josh Johnson and Robert Macy got a lot of votes, so those guys are honorary captains. And I think that's huge that Kawan is a captain 2 years in a row. I thought he really embraced that role a lot last year, and particularly the second half of the season really did a good job of asserting himself as a leader. So I like the choices. Obviously, special teams-wise, Raheem Mostert got a lot of votes, and his performance on Saturdays last year is probably a big part of that, but he's one of the hardest workers on our football team, and he is really a giver as a football player. We ask a lot out of Raheem. We play him on special teams. Last year he returned kicks for us. He was the best in the nation, and he covered kicks for us. He made tackles downfield, and he placed tailback for us and receiver for us. So he's a great worker and obviously has the admiration of his teammates. So I think that when you are voted as captain by your teammates, is probably the biggest honor in football. So really happy for the guys that were selected as captains, and huge responsibility, but they're certainly deserving. Other guys on special teams that got a lot of votes was Cody Webster and Chris Quinn, and those guys will be honorary captains this season. So good selections, and I'm pleased with it, very pleased with it.
Pretty eclectic group of captains, just sort of serves as indication that when you have leadership, it can come from all walks of, maybe not all walks of life, but just comes from all over.
Well, we have players. We have players from all over, and we said it before that you have to have great character to be a championship football team, but you also have to have some characters, and we've got some characters on our football team from all over. We're really having a lot of fun out here this spring. Again, I like the captains that they selected, and they are a great group of guys, and I'm not surprised that the votes went in that direction.
Just the spring game tomorrow, obviously something you're always looking forward to from maybe a fan's perspective as much as anything.
We're going to have fun tomorrow, and we've had an outstanding spring practice. It's one of the better spring practices that I've been around. We worked them harder and longer than our normal practices, and the guys responded, and no one ever complained, and we got a lot better as a football team as a result of it, and I think that maybe helped to develop some toughness for our football team, which is always really important. We're going to keep it really simple tomorrow. We have a very short game plan. I saw the wristband is really abbreviated. We're going to keep it simple, but I think that's important to end the spring game that way so guys can go out there and play hard, minimize their mistakes, go out and execute well, light each other up, play physical, and have fun. So tomorrow we're going to come out and have fun as a team, entertain our fans, keep it safe, and then wrap up one heck of a spring practice.
What will determine whether Dwayne Beckford is back in the fall or at some point in the summer?
I'm very optimistic about Dwayne Beckford. He is enrolled taking classes somewhere else. He's here in town, living in town. He's not on scholarship. He's working, paying his bills, and he's going to get himself eligible. And when that happens, we're going to welcome him back to the football team. He's paid a heck of a price, and he's worked hard, and I think he's learned a lot from it. He's 6 months away from graduating from Purdue, and I have a good feeling that Dwayne's going to be back.
So is it an academic issue that's keeping him away, or the
it's both.
Both the court stuff.
Well, he has to pay for his own school, and he has to complete the classes on his own, and so that makes it an academic issue. He wasn't ineligible. He's okay academically, but he's not enrolled at Purdue right now. He's taking his classes somewhere else. He's not a member of the football team. He's not on scholarship. He's going to get himself eligible. That's the plan. Pay for his own classes. And if he does all that and his grades are good, we're going to give him a chance to come back on the football team and be a player for Purdue next season. Again, he's 6 months away from graduating, and that's quite an achievement. He's really worked hard to be a good player and to put himself in position to graduate. He made some mistakes I know he regrets, and we're going to give him another chance. He's got to get himself eligible and pay his bills and take care of business first. It's a pretty simple thing.
And has OJ's status changed at all?
It hasn't changed any, other than he has really done a great job. It hasn't changed any on the team yet. Okay, he still doesn't have a scholarship. We took his scholarship away because he had some academic apathy about him that we couldn't tolerate. Okay, but he has done a great job this spring. He has really worked hard. He has probably been one of our more consistent receivers throughout the course of spring, and he's doing very well in school right now. And if he is eligible and pays for his education and pays for his bills and stays the course, we'll give him an opportunity to come back and join our football team. I'm proud of what he's done so far, but the grades aren't out yet. But he looks like he's in good shape academically. It's the best he's ever done as a student in his life this past semester has been.
Provided he stays healthy, is Robert Macy kind of at a place right now where he can be an every down player for you?
Well, on the defensive side of the ball, when you play on the line of scrimmage, it's hard to be an every down player. You know, I think he can do everything that we need him to do. I think he can rush the passer. I think he's strong enough and tough enough to hold up against the offensive line, and be a good player against the run. He's really a smart guy. He's always been one of our better football players, but he has matured a lot in the last year, and he's bigger and stronger and older now. He's always been a good football player, but now he's bigger and stronger and big enough and strong enough to really hold up on the line of scrimmage. So the very few guys that play on the line of scrimmage can play 80 or 90 snaps wide open. Ryan Kerrigan could, and that's what really separated him from all the others. And Robert Macy has great stamina. He's got excellent stamina. He may play the majority of the plays in the game, but I don't know if he'll play every down, but there's nothing that we need for him to do that he can't do from a performance standpoint for us. So really pleased with him. He's really done a great job for us, and he could have made a difference at the end of the season last year. I'm really encouraged about our defensive front. When at the beginning of the season last year, we did pretty good securing the football on offense, but we didn't get any takeaways. And a lot of that had to do with not putting a whole lot of pressure on the quarterback. And a lot of that has to do with us being young and in some ways, and we were still developing some early in the season last year. We're much further along right now on the line of scrimmage on the defensive side of the ball, and we hope that equates to sacks and some disruption and some takeaways. So I think Robert Macy has really stepped his game up along with the rest of the defensive linemen.
Good. He's played some linebacker for you this spring. You see that long term, or was that just one of the experiments you were trying to do this spring?
Well, we're shorthanded a little bit, so we want to take a look at him some. But in our defensive package that we have the flexibility to change fronts, not only the structure of the front, but also how many guys have their hand on the ground or how many guys are at the linebacker position. We could have 4 down linemen in the game, and we could stand up our ends sometimes. And you don't want to do your hand on which one's coming. But obviously, Robert has a little more experience at the defensive end position, so we use him to execute some of the drops earlier in practice, and then we got him back with his hand on the ground and took the other ends and worked them on dropping them some. It's something we're going to have to get a lot better at. He has a little more game experience, so we worked him in those drills and then put him in those scenarios first.